Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So anyway, it's the eve of New Year's Eve for us, but for you, I don't know what it is.
It will be New Year's Day.
Yay! Okay. Alright, so where are we? And what are we reading?
Canto 4, Chapter 11, Text 21.
Ooh. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 21. By Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu is all-powerful, and he awards the results of one's fruitive activities. Thus, although one living entity's duration of life is very small, whereas that of another is very great, he is always in his transcendental position, and there is no question of lessening or increasing his duration of life. Purport. Both the mosquito and Lord Brahma are living entities in the material world. Both are minute sparks and are part of the Supreme Lord. The very short duration of the life of the mosquito and the very long lifetime of Lord Brahma are both awarded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to the results of their karma. But in the Brahma Samhita we find it said, Karmani nirdahati. The Lord diminishes or vanquishes the reactions of devotees. The same fact is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Yagna tat karmano anyatra. One should perform karma only for the purpose of satisfying the Supreme Lord. Otherwise one is bound by the action and reaction of karma. Under the laws of karma, a living entity wanders within the universe and under the rule of eternal time. And sometimes he becomes a mosquito and sometimes Lord Brahma. To a sane man, this business is not very faithful.
Fruitful. Fruity.
Bhagavad Gita chapter 9 text 25 gives a warning to the living entities. Yanti deva vrata devan. Those who are addicted to the worship of the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, and those who are addicted to worship of the pitas, forefathers, go to the pitas. Those who are inclined to material activities remain in the material sphere. But persons who engage in devotional service reach the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, where there is neither birth nor death, nor different varieties of life, under the influence of the law of karma. The best interest of the living entity is to engage himself in devotional service and go back home, back to Godhead. Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur advised, My friend, you are being washed away in material nature's waves of time. Please try to understand that you are the eternal servant of the Lord. Then everything will stop and you will be eternally happy.
Wow.
I think you get these when you hear like this at the end. Bhaktivedanta Thakur is saying, for example, you are being washed away in material nature's wave of time. Phrases like this, and Prabhupada also talks about like this and time, and how things are moving on, getting older, and it's interesting how one gets older, it has more meaning compared to like.
Oh, as one gets older, the idea of getting old has more meaning.
Yeah, like when you read verses like this, washed away in material nature's waves of time. Yeah.
Feeling your age.
Yeah, I'm in the midlife crisis.
21.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so text 22. I think what stood out to me is the first bit that just the whole point of Yagyarta Karmano Yatra, one should perform karma only for the purpose of satisfying the Supreme. So, karma means action. So it means, actually it's very simple. If we just perform activities to try to please Krishna, we're free from karma. But whatever activities that we do that are not with that initiative or that inclination or motivation, then that creates karma, either good or bad, karma or karma. Otherwise, as long as we're focused on trying to please Krishna with our activities, that's akarma, and there's no karmic reaction. So it sounds very simple, but then we have to think like every action, and how many actions are there just in the process of getting out of bed in the morning and getting ready to go to work. What to speak of once you get to work or school, and if you have kids and family. I mean, unbelievably so many actions, and every single one of them somehow we have to make as a dedication to the service of the Lord. So that is what it means by being Krishna conscious or being God conscious, that we are actually conscious of Krishna with everything that we do. It's not an easy task. Text 22. The differentiation among varieties of life and their suffering and enjoyment is explained by some to be the result of karma. Others say it is due to nature. Others due to time, others due to fate, still others say that it is due to desire. Purport. There are different types of philosophers, Mimasakas, atheists, astronomers, sexualists, and so many other classifications of mental speculators. The real conclusion is that it is our work. The real conclusion is that it is our work only that binds us within this material world in different varieties of life. How these varieties have sprung up is explained in the Vedas. Quote, or colon, it is due to the desire of the living entity. The living entity is not a dead stone. He has different varieties of desire, or kama. The Vedas say kamo karshit. The living entities are originally parts of the Lord, like sparks of a fire, but they have dropped to this material world attracted by a desire to lord it over nature. That is a fact. Every living entity is trying to lord it over the material resources to the best of his ability. Really wonderful, powerful. So many different philosophies that are basically just speculating, and as just mentioned, our work binds us, so our activities is what's entangling us here. This statement that the Vedas say, Kamo Karshit, where was that one? There was that one statement. Yeah, anyway. The living entities are originally parts of the Lord like sparks of fire, but they have dropped in the material world attracted by a desire to lord it over nature. Prabhupada says that is a fact. So like that, we have all the potency to become self-realized and reconnected with Krishna in our original spiritual form, but somehow or other we're trying to lord it over the material energy. Apariyam atwastwanyam prakritim vidime param jivabhutam mahabaho yedam daryate jagat. Krishna says in 7th chapter, text 5, I think it is, that the living entities are my internal energy and they are trying desperately to exploit the resources of my material energy. So because of that, we remain entangled. Kama, desire.
Okay.
Shadi, just trying to share.
Right, next paragraph. This karma or desire cannot be annihilated. There are some philosophers who say that if one gives up his desires, he again becomes liberated. But it is not at all possible to give up desire, for desire is a symptom of the living entity. If there were no desire, then the living entity would be a dead stone. Srila Narottam Das Thakur therefore advises that one turn his desire towards serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then desire becomes purified. And when one's desires are purified, one becomes liberated from all material contamination. The conclusion is that the different philosophers' theories to explain the varieties of life and their pleasure and pain are all imperfect. The real explanation is that we are eternal servants of God, and that as soon as we forget this relationship, we are thrown into the material world, where we create our different activities and suffer or enjoy the result. We are drawn into this material world by desire, but the same desire must be purified and employed in the devotional service of the Lord. Then our disease of wandering in the universe under different forms and conditions will end. I remember Prabhupada saying once, you can desire to go back to Godhead, or you can desire to go to hell. I found that quite powerful, you know. It's one of his classes. The point being, like as is saying here, it's our desire. As Prabhupada is saying here, this same desire that brings us to this material world and whereby we enjoy can be purified and employed in the service of the Lord.
Now, how to control that desire? Let's see, Prabhupada.
Maybe that's what Prabhupada says.
Yeah. Okay, text 23. Oh, that's a very long purport.
Do you want me to stop and then start?
Stop and then start.
By the time we decide.
No, let's read. Excuse me, text 23. The absolute truth, transcendence, is never subject to the understanding of imperfect sensory endeavor, nor is he subject to direct experience. He is the master of varieties of energies like the full material energy, and no one can understand his plans or actions. Therefore, it should be concluded that, although he is the original cause of all causes, no one can know him by mental speculation. I mean, that's a mouthful in and of itself. So we can't understand the Supreme Absolute Truth by our imperfect senses. And that means he can be understood by direct experience. He is the master of varieties of energies, and no one can understand his plan or actions. There you go. So if you ever wondered, like, you know, I know we often have this saying amongst the devotee community, Krishna has a plan. But the problem is, he's got a plan, no doubt, for sure. It's just we don't know what it is. And we're trying desperately to figure it out. And even if our intention is really to work with Krishna's plan, but it's really hard to know what is his plan, because sometimes he'll take us really, it seems like, round the houses to get to what we thought we were meant to be doing or where we wanted to go. Anyway, we can't know him by mental speculation. So, first paragraph of this purport. The question may be raised, since there are so many varieties of philosophers theorizing in different ways, which of them is correct? The answer is that the absolute truth, transcendence, is never subject to direct experience or mental speculation. The mental speculator may be called Dr. Frog. The story is that a frog in a 3-foot well wanted to calculate the length and breadth of the Atlantic Ocean on the basis of his knowledge of his own well. But it was an impossible task for Dr. Frog. A person may be a great academic... Wow, that's an interesting word. Academician?
Academician.
academician. Scholar.
Academic.
Yeah. Scholar or professor, but he cannot speculate and expect to understand the absolute truth, for his senses are limited. The cause of all causes, the absolute truth, can be known from the absolute truth himself, and not by our ascending process to reach him. When the sun is not visible at night, or when it is covered by a cloud in the day, it is not possible to uncover it, either by bodily or mental strength, or by scientific instruments. Although the sun is there in the sky, no one can say that he has discovered a torchlight so powerful that if one goes on a roof and focuses the torchlight in the night sky, the sun will then be seen. There is no such torchlight, nor is it possible. It's quite an interesting statement. My understanding is that, of course, the Lord can't be understood just by our theorizing or trying to shine some light on him from our own attempt or perspective. So it doesn't mean that we don't try to understand the Lord, but we have to recognize that it's not going to be as simple or easy as we might think. Yeah, like that, I guess. There was something else I was going to say, but I lost the train of thought, fortunately. Go ahead.
Next paragraph. The word avyakta, unmanifested, in this verse indicates that the absolute truth cannot be manifested by any strain of so-called scientific advancement of knowledge. Transcendence is not the subject matter of direct experience. The absolute truth may be known in the same way as the sun covered by a cloud or covered by night. For when the sun rises in the morning in its own way, then everyone can see the sun. Everyone can see the world, and everyone can see himself. This understanding of self-realization is called Atma Tattva. Unless, however, one comes to this point of understanding Atma Tattva, one remains in the darkness in which he was born. Under the circumstances, no one can understand the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is equipped with varieties of energies, as stated in the Vedic literature, Parashya Shakti Vidaiva Shruyate. He is equipped with the energy of eternal time. Not only does he have the material energy which we see and experience, but he has also many reverse energies that he can manifest in
reserve, not reverse.
Sorry. That he can manifest in due course of time when necessary. The material scientist can simply study the partial understanding of the varieties of energies. He can take up one of the energies and try to understand it with limited knowledge. But still it is not possible to understand the absolute truth in full by dint of material science. No material scientist can foretell what is going to happen in the future. The Bhakti Yoga process, however, is completely different from so-called scientific advancement of knowledge. A devotee completely surrenders unto the Supreme, who reveals himself by his causeless mercy. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. The Lord says, I give him intelligence. What is that intelligence? Yena Mam Upanyatite. The Lord gives me the intelligence to cross over the ocean of omniscience and come back home, back to Godhead. In conclusion, the cause of all causes, the absolute truth, all Supreme Brahman, cannot be understood by philosophical speculation. But he reveals himself to his devotee, because the devotee fully surrenders unto his lotus feet. Bhagavad Gita is therefore to be accepted as a revealed scripture spoken by the Absolute Truth himself when he descended to this planet. If any intelligent man wants to know what God is, he should study this transcendental literature under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. Then it is very easy to understand Krishna as he is.
Mm.
That's a nice point actually to end with, because it's true, like even when you read the Bhagavatam, there's a lot of, for me anyway, when it gets too technical or, you know, too, I can't deal with this, you know, but it's interesting that Prabhupada, we've said it in previous readings as well, like Prabhupada, he's taken this, as I'm making this point because it says, you know, it becomes very easy to understand, this is the last line, it becomes very easy to understand Krishna if you have the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. So Prabhupada has made it so easy for anyone. And like recently we were in Vrindavan, and like there were 50 odd newcomers, you know, Western newcomers like that. It was really eye-opening and incredible to take them to the nucleus, you could say, of the spiritual world, and wonderful how they were receptive, how they were. And I was thinking this, and I regularly was thinking this, you know, for us, for them, but whoever else is there, it's only because of this one person. Only because of this one person. And imagine
Srila Prabhupada, I think.
Yes.
The person she's talking about.
Yeah.
Not me, not her, not anyone else.
Yeah. No, Prabhupada, and like and you can only give what you've got. You know, you can only preach what you know, and you know when someone's giving a class or otherwise, and they get asked a question or they're speaking on a subject and it's gone way over their realization level. You know, oh my God, it's so painful in what you're saying. So in the same way, imagine how realized and pure and what a level Prabhupada's on, that he gave Krishna fully when he was here. I mean, he's physically not here, but he's still giving. And he will continue to give as long as the books are there and the teachings are there. And like, yeah, it was quite far out, that trip, and just like that. Yeah, so, and they didn't know, they weren't connected with Prabhupada, these newcomers or whatever, you know. They didn't realise that their ticket into this amazing place, and they all had different realizations of it, was because of this one person. Actually, you would never have been there. With all due respect, you know, you wouldn't have understood these different secret places that we went to, you know. Yeah. All glorious Prabhupada.
Jai. That's amazing. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Have an amazing 2024.
Yeah.